Now, this is a great question. And if you're not sure what metric modulation is, this is part 2, so you want to go back and check out part 1. What's the difference between a metric modulation, or what I call a full metric modulation, or an implied metric modulation, or what I call a partial metric modulation? A full metric modulation, like you're talking about, is when you fully commit to the new tempo. That's when basically one note actually becomes the other note. So if, for example, I'm playing 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1, and I switch that to triplets and I go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, that would be a full metric modulation because I'm going from 16th notes to triplets and the time is committing. An implied metric modulation, or a partial metric modulation, is when I keep the original tempo in mind. I don't really lose sight of where that original time is. I'm not really committing to the new speed. So if I'm in 16th notes like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's go to 16ths in groups of 3. So now the audience is hearing this, 1E, a 2E, and a 3E, and a 1E, but I'm not losing sight of that original 16th note. That way I always have that original time as a reference and I don't fully commit to what's happening. So let's show you that back to back. So here is a full metric modulation. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Here is a partial or implied metric modulation. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1. You notice with the implied metric modulation, the time doesn't really change. It's just the accent is implying that I'm in a different speed. Now, if you don't give the audience the reference of the time, that's when it becomes very effective. Here's an example of a full metric modulation. Okay, now here's an example of an implied metric modulation where they don't lose sight of the original time.